everybody, and welcome to the Weatherboys podcast. I am Derek Kevra. That is not Alan Longstreet.
No, I'm Stephanie Maid. I'm excited to help you out today. This is going to be a fun time.
Stephanie is pinch hitting for Alan because it is a holiday week, and we gave Alan some time to get, his life in order.
Yes.
So, well, the truth is, he's just incredibly lazy, and the guy doesn't want to work. And so I was like, Steph, you got to help me out.
Yeah, and I said, you know what? Amongst all of the other things I'm doing, why not just help you guys out?
Right.
No, just kidding, though.
Poor Stephanie's he's filling in left and right, filling in for this, filling in for that. So today when I was like, hey, can you step in for Alan? When we do our second Best of Weatherboys podcast episode, because she's the most wonderful person in the building, she said, sure, I'd love to.
Well, I've always wanted to come on and just kind of chit-chat with you guys, so I'm kind of excited that it worked out this way. You guys are so fun to talk to.
Oh, it's too nice. What I want to talk to you about is how is your big Siberian Husky dog handling these 105-degree temperatures?
I think she's doing pretty well. She's actually in her blowing coat season where we're finding massive tufts of hair around the house. So she's kind of in the process of letting a lot of herself go at this point. But, I'm doing I'm such a nerd. I do what we tell people to do, where I'm like, I'm not out there between 11 o'clock and 7 o'clock with her just because she can't handle it. So I went on a walk earlier this morning with her at 6:30 just to avoid me too sweating to death and her panting. She pants so heavily too, even after a 20-minute walk.
Well, and she's young still, right? She's only a couple years or?
Well, actually, she turned 5.
No!
I thought so too. And actually, I feel like such a bad dog mom because I completely forgot her birthday this year. So I was like, oh my gosh, her birthday is June 17th, around there. I ended up rescuing her the 10th or something like that. And they put some random birthday on her thing. So who knows if she's actually 5, but she's 5.
That's wild.
I know.
I remember when you got her.
I know, me too. So it's just oh my gosh, the years are passing. You would never guess it because she still has a ton of energy, but she is 5 and she's officially, I think, middle-aged now.
Wow. Now, it's funny because she's one of she's like me. Mm-hmm. I prefer the winter.
Yeah.
And so she prefers the winter as well because she's a husky.
Yeah, she loves it. And it's funny you mentioned that because when I went to take her to the vet, she's like, oh, I bet you guys are just so super inactive during the summer months. I'm like, no, actually, that's when we're the most active because I don't want to be out in the winter months with her. And we have a backyard now, which is great. So she can go run around in the snow and sub-zero temperatures, but you're not going to find me out there with her.
Yeah, not in the winter. No. In the summer, maybe you would.
In the summer, yeah. And, we few and far between get heat waves like this here in Michigan. So it's definitely manageable for her, even in July and August. And I was thinking this morning, how do people with Huskies have them in Florida or Texas or Arizona when it's hot like this all the time? Because I can't imagine her not being outside.
She's a traveling dog. You guys, you throw her in the car and you and your fiance go.
Yeah, so she's been up to Port Austin where you guys
were
just at, and she's also been up to Mackinac City. I have a cute little picture of her at the Mackinac Bridge in Lake Huron, where Lake Michigan and Lake Huron kind of connect. So she's been to all of the fun places. She's been to Chicago. So she's been places. She's a really good traveler.
Is she? So she's good in the car? Because my dog was not good in the car.
No, she's fantastic in the car, and she's good in all types of cars too, which is great. So
convertibles and tanks.
Well, she hasn't been in a tank yet, but even if it's a person she doesn't know's car, she's gonna get in there. She's gonna jump in. She's not scared, which is fantastic. And she does really well with fireworks and thunderstorms too.
So my dog, who passed away last year, my dog was really good with fireworks because we got her in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And in New Orleans, there's always parades. Mm-hmm. And within these parades, there's always trumpets, trombones, drums,
it's just loud,
banging.
Generally.
Yeah. So every day, I kid you not, every day there would be bands that would walk by the house banging on these drums. So ever since she was 8 weeks old, she just knew that sound, so thunder never bothered her.
Yeah, good for Rue. I love the story you tell me every time how you adopted her down in New Orleans and how you guys ran into another couple that actually adopted her sister or something like that.
Yes.
I love that story so much.
So the adoption day, I'll never forget it. We get there, my girlfriend at the time, not even fiance, but I was like, she's probably the one. Yeah. So we'll get a dog together. So we go to the Louisiana Humane Society and we walk right in. She walks right over to Rue and she points and she says, that's going to be our dog.
Yeah.
And I was like, we just got here. Can we look around? And And she goes, you can look around, but I'm staying right here because if someone else wants to get this dog, I'm going to tell them it's going to be our dog.
Yeah, she just knew.
And I was like, okay, fine. You stay here. So I took 3 other dogs outside to play, and then I put them all away, and I walked up to her, and she said, you ready to get our dog now? And I said, okay, fine, get the dog. So that's how we got her. And then we did. It was just randomly. We were walking the dog. Rue was white with black spots. This dog was white with brown spots. Mm-hmm. And we were like, they look a lot alike. That's so crazy. Our dogs look alike. We did not put it together. And we started to say, where'd you get it from? Oh, the Louisiana Humane Society. Yeah, us too. When did you get it? When did you get her? About April. Yeah, us too. Wait, was it part of the Peanuts group? Because they named them all like Charlie Brown and all that.
That is so cute.
Yeah, it was that was great.
Yeah,
great memory.
I just think it's such a cute story.
Yes. Okay. Well, Stephanie, thank you for being with us on the Weatherboys podcast. This is our second best of Weatherboys podcast episode. And so the first clip you're going to see is one of our, all these interviews are our favorite interviews, but this is one of our favorite interviews. It is with famous rapper Trick Trick. Now, if you're from here, you know Trick Trick. He has done many albums with Eminem. He's done songs with Eminem, but he's homegrown talent from the Metro Detroit area. And we got to talking to him about just life in Detroit and growing up around here. And he shared this one of many stories.
It was like common because it was, when I met up with him at the studio, he gave me the track and then I took it back to my studio in Southfield. At the time, I was with Wonder Boy. And, I just, I played it for the homies and we just, marveled over it because we loved the track so much. And then like the love he was giving me on the track, it was like, wow. But we knew Cuz from the hip hop shop. So we knew him because that was Proof's partner.
Yeah.
But Proof was in our group, the Goon Squad, before, they did any of that. So when he was at the hip hop shop, he was in the Goon Squad.
Right.
And we're talking 95.
And Proof was like the glue to the rap community.
94. Yeah, 100%.
I didn't mean to, I'm just going to, step in real quick. But Proof was like part of the backpack positive lyrical rap scene, but he was also a part of the Goon Squad street rap, So he was like the perfect glue bridge to unite everybody.
Yeah, I mean, he grew up in my hood. He grew up on 6 Mile. He grew up on the east side too, but he had the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? But he knew early that he was staying away from street stuff. It wasn't until he got till he got famous where it became overwhelming for him, and then he, of course, engulfed him in, what ultimately caused his demise. But, he introduced me to him years before, before 05 at a show at on Woodward bowling alley upstairs.
Oh, the Magic Stick.
Magic Stick. And he was doing a show with Phi Ella, his group, Proof. And he's like, him and Paul Rosenberg is his manager, a good friend of mine. And he says, when I looked, I said, boy, this is a mean-looking ass white boy.
Well, Paul, his manager, is a tall, big guy.
They do look mean, don't they? Yeah.
When you listen to his music, because his first album cover didn't have his picture on it, it's called Infinite, the first one I heard. It just had like stars and shit on it. So we would listen to the Infinite album at Mo Masters, and I remember Bushman playing some music from him one day, and I didn't put the 2 and 2 together, and he was like, guess what this is? He said, this is a white boy. I was like, nigga, please. I said, oh, no, that's the same dude from the record in Mo Master. I was like, oh, man, okay, then. Proof was like, that's my man. I'm like, I got to do some beats for him. He's like, I'm going to introduce you, man. We got a show that's coming up, blah, 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 blah. So we was cool. We was always cool. We'd see each other in passing, and then he knew, if Proof had a problem, I had a problem. It was like that. So when Proof went on tour and he started doing the big stuff with Marshall, it was like if M got a problem, naturally Proof has a problem. If Proof has a problem,
You got a problem.
yeah, so I'm gonna handle that. Leave my little homie alone because he doing big things, and I know that can reflect and affect all of us. So leave him alone, let him soar. And ultimately Marshall called like, yo, pull up to the studio, and he got the record. So when I took it back, and it took me a minute, like I don't even know what to do on this record for a minute. It was like, how do I start talking about Coney Islands and Fago and what do I do here? And I was like, I'm just gonna go because whenever I think too hard, it's just like too much. So and it was like, turn the mic on. Let's just go. Homie, it's been a long time coming, and I'm straight with that. Like, what's next? Marshall will call me the 54s and just keep going line for line for line. I never wrote
It was all improv.
Yeah, you just go
all
like
just
a couple bars at a time, and then maybe repair the delivery on one, and then go back and do it again. Then take it, learn it, see if you like that one, or go back and re-record
Recut.
it. Recut it, and then
God, that's such
when
a good
I got
song.
it back to Marshall,
Yeah.
he was like, "That's dope."
Now, is that how you always do it, or just that particular
always.
time? That's
Always.
always.
Yeah. A
It's
lot of rappers have
faster
different
now, but
styles.
That was
Sure,
pressure.
yeah.
I ain't gonna front. That was pressure. Like, I've had some pretty big records for local artists. Like in '95, my first record was called "Shake That, Make That Booty Bounce," and this record was huge. This was in the era of before it was a such thing as twerking. It was booties bounce.
Twerking.
Was we had Ghetto Tech,
You knew it was
with DJ
coming.
Godfather, DJ Assault, and
Right.
all of the great techno artists before then, where we could take that music from Detroit, where we could take that music, Juan Atkins and the techno crew from there, Derek May. We put their music with our drums and then rapped over it and made our own thing, So that was big for us. So we was doing 70, 80, 90,000 records out the trunk where we would get $10 a unit.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Is that's how it used to be, right? You would self-fund the albums, and
Right.
then you got to go sell them.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had places like Chantaniques and Pearls and
You put them on consignment, and come back in a
Yep,
week,
come
see
back
how
and
they
get your
sold,
money.
collect your money. Do you need more?
we got to all my records were getting called for like, yo, we need that booty bounce. So then I came back with Everywhere We Go We Deep in 1996, which is being revived
By the Lions fans.
by
You
the-
know when they're like, everywhere we go deep.
Okay.
That's
That's
That was
trick
in
song.
96.
Man,
All right, so there you go. So that's Trick right there. If you want to listen to the entire thing, you can find it on YouTube, Spotify, Fox Local. But we're really lucky that he came and gave him and Mikey came and gave us some time, which was really cool.
Yeah, I think Trick has been in before and on our streaming platform as well.
Yeah.
In the 2:00 hour or so. He seems like a very interesting person.
You can just tell by looking at him. You can just tell. You're like, this guy is a guy that has some stories
For sure.
behind those sunglasses. Okay, so the next one we're going to get to is I feel relevant for you and I.
Oh, perfect.
Because as meteorologists ourselves, we have a love not only for the weather, but for the legends that have come before us that have also done the weather. And there are very few names. In fact, you can make the argument that there are no bigger names than that of Chuck Aideka.
Okay.
Now, you're born and raised in Chicago.
I was born and raised in Chicago, yeah.
So this is the equivalent. So yours is like Tom Skilling, right?
Absolutely. Tom Skilling is the man. He comes out of retirement for severe weather.
I noticed he did that the other day.
It's crazy. And my family too, they all love Tom Skilling. So growing up, Tom Skilling is the equivalent of what's his name?
Chuck Gatica.
Chuck Gatica.
Yeah.
So
Just a
we all have
legend.
him.
Everybody watched him. Everybody has a story about him, bumping into him somewhere, some restaurant, and everybody always says the same thing.
Yeah.
Nicest guy in the world.
for sure.
So when we got a chance to sit down with Chuck Gatica, who, by the way, started his career here at Channel 2. I know a lot of people say, wasn't he on Channel 4? Yeah, he was. But he started his career here. And so we got a chance to talk to him a little bit about some of the crazy things that happened early in his career.
You know, when I was here, WWJ was down the hall at the other end of the hall. So the coffee machines and the vending machines, you know, we would share them. So you kind of learn that long hall was on the way to radio, which I never really went down unless I was subbing for somebody. And then the newsroom was the newsroom. I think a different layout than what you guys have now for sure. And every once in a while, you'd be invited up to the GM's office, and he was up in the... There's a panel, like a walnut panel or oak panel.
Oh,
room
yeah,
up there?
the oak room.
The oak room,
Yes.
okay. But that was his office, and at noon or 1 o'clock, you'd be invited to the GM's office. Now, you're talking early 80s, and the first thing he would say is, so do you want a scotch or something? And I'd be like, what? And he'd open up the wall, and there was like a bar.
That's fantastic.
And I'm thinking, this is a test. I mean, even in the early 80s, you're like, you just want to see if I'm drinking while I'm coming to work? Because I don't recall what the meeting was for,
He's like, we're talking about your contract, and you're like, then yes, I would like one.
And can you take 2, please? No, but you hear all those stories. Not about it, like I've heard sort of from the old timey stagehands who are like they've been in TV for a long time, and I never quite know which part of their story is a joke and which part is real, because they'll tell stories about individuals with vodka, liquor, whiskey in this drawer, that drawer, and it was a different time.
There
back
were
in the
a few
day.
stories here. There was a guard. I think back in the day they were allowed to be armed. And there was some couple here that was caught out in the car making out or something, and he started shooting at the car when they took off. Oh, yeah. Nobody was injured in this event. There was that story.
Just because he saw them
Was he
naked
jealous?
in the car?
What was it?
Was it his wife?
Was it his wife? I don't know. All I know is that shots rang out, and after that point, the guards didn't have guns.
They said,
didn't.
okay.
No more.
Yeah.
So when your career started, because I feel like Anchorman the movie sets this representation of what anchoring was like. What was that in the 70s? But you were a bit after that.
81 to 80. This was I had been in Evansville, Indiana for 9 months, Cape Girardeau, Missouri, 3.5 months, Little Rock, Arkansas, 1.5 years, and then Detroit. So by the time I got here at JBK, I was 23 and a half. I mean, in my early career was like,
Was that how the business was early in the day? Did the evening anchor? I mean, there's all the stories of Bill Bonds and all those the olden days where it was a Scotch with the nightly news. Was that a little past your time?
I never saw that because I was not at that station, but here, no, I never saw that here. Although I know that we had kind of a wild anchor guy and a sportscaster who both got along, and I heard that. There was rumors. There
some stories.
There were swim parties on the weekend. They were both single guys, and I don't know. But I was going home to Susan, and we were having kids already by the time we got here. Susan was 6 months pregnant when we moved to Detroit. God love her, because that was a big deal.
Yeah. Now, where did you move from?
We were in Little Rock, Arkansas.
In Little Rock. Oh, from all the way. Okay, that was from. Okay.
But this was still early 80s, and I grew up in Chicago. And my hero was John Coleman, who was doing ABC in Chicago and was doing Good Morning America. And I met him at an AMS, American Meteorological Society convention. So I'm sitting next to my idol.
Sure.
And I'm a kid. I mean, I'm just, And he says, so where are you from? And I tell him, and he said, give me your card. He said, I'm working on something that, I may want to share with you sometime. So the next year I come back, and he's there again. So I thought, well, I'll go walk up and say hi. And he said, let me grab a cocktail napkin. And he starts sketching all these little rectangles and lines. And he said, I'm creating this 24-hour-a-day weather channel. And he said, I'd like to know if you'd like to join us. I said, where? He said, Atlanta. I said, 24 hours? Who wants to watch weather 24 hours a day? Right?
Nobody's going to want that.
And so he offered me the morning slot opposite him on Good Morning America. But they had no money. So he said, I can either pay for your moving, or I can pay for, and the salary wasn't awful compared to what I was making in Little Rock, but Susan was pregnant. I said, John, I need security. I need benefits.
Wait, you said the morning spot
on the Weather Channel.
The Weather Channel.
Yeah. Main lead morning guy on the Weather Channel, but it was opposite him because he was pouring all of his personal wealth into this idea, which eventually he needed a and then they scammed him out of everything, and he wound up owning none of it. It was sad.
So the Weather Channel, I think, is what started this weather revolution, where it was you could just get the weather from the weather guy on the local news. Then the Weather Channel comes along. The business, this is one of the topics I wanted to dig into even later, but hey, we're here right now. The evolution of technology in weather.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of this through your career.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the beginning, it was literally magnetic boards, even at the network. Because when I was here, so maybe around 83, 84, CBS called. We were CBS back in the day, and they said, would you like to substitute on the CBS Morning News? And I'm like, sure. So I'm either doing it from here or flying to New York. Got to work with, Bill Curtis and Diane Sawyer and tons of people. And Maria Shriver, Bill Schieffer. I mean, just crazy names. And I'm still a kid.
Yeah,
I'm still in my mid-20s, early
that
mid-20s.
is a kid, man.
You're like almost young enough to not know how crazy this is.
Yeah. So, this was really interesting to me of what was going on, and I'm watching by osmosis. I'm an interloper at these places, and I'm just there, And so, for me, my early career, watching technology evolve, but even there, it was a board with magnets, and sometimes they'd have the special magnets that if you hit it with the right camera, they vibrated like the sun was moving.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. And it wasn't chalk. It wasn't the Sonny Elliott thing, but it was a marker.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I love hearing stories from prior years in this industry, and it's so cool to just see how it evolves.
Isn't it funny how he tells the story about back in the 80s when it was okay to drink? Like it's just a completely different.
Drink, smoke at the office. And
On
it's
the
just-
air.
Yeah, on the
You
air.
know what I mean?
That
It's
is
insane.
incredible.
Yeah. It's
Different
like
time.
the Ron Burgundy Anchorman.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Exactly.
They just got it all right. Okay, great. So Chuck, it was really cool that Chuck came in, and it was just fun to talk a little bit of weather, talk about the industry with him, and just how things have changed over the years. We'll transition from a man in weather to a man in outer space. So this next guy, Dr. Greer from the Michigan Science Center, and not only what was cool about Dr. Greer is we really kind of dug into like space travel and like what that could mean. Are you a science fiction person?
Not really, but I do think like studying space is very interesting because it's something I'm never going to end up doing, and probably a large majority of people are never going to go do. But it's just kind of cool to see what else is out there besides just Earth.
Well, and what's nuts too is like if you look at science fiction movies and books and stuff from the 1950s, it's like we're kind of living in that era now.
Right.
So the books and movies of things that are happening now, like fast forward another 50 years, that could be our reality.
Oh gosh, like Wall-E.
Yeah,
Remember Wall-E?
yes.
Like living on a space. I mean, I will never do that. Just leave me behind. But that is a crazy concept to just even think about.
It's sad that the movie's about like people getting fat.
I don't know.
Like they
Larger.
Yeah, it's
and like not moving. But it's got a good ending.
It's got a great ending.
Yeah.
Yes. So when we got a chance to talk to Dr. Greer, it was wonderful to talk about not only the initiatives that the Michigan Science Center is working towards, but also just some general space questions. Are we close with space travel? How about time travel? How about all these off the wall ideas? And here you go. Enjoy a little clip with Dr. Greer. Okay, we're 20 minutes into the podcast.
I know we started with aliens and then got sidetracked.
We've got to circle back to aliens.
Fine.
People want to know about aliens. So as an astronomer, as somebody that has devoted, you said the planetarium was what initially hooked you.
Oh, yeah.
Outer space must be something that still fascinates you to this day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the interesting thing is that we forget that space is actually all around us. We think about looking up, but the Earth is round. So everybody looking up at every part of the Earth is pointing in a different direction. And so I think we need to think of ourselves almost immersed in space and time as this big blue marble, as they called it in the 70s. This idea that we're on this like when you think about it, the Earth is like a giant spacesuit. When we go out into space, that's an environment we're not supposed to be in.
Sure.
So we have to take pieces of Earth with us. We have to take oxygen with us. We have to take protection against the sun and the heat. We have to take food with us. We have to take all these things up into space. That's why it's so expensive to get to space and live in space on the International Space Station. But the Earth itself is almost like a spacecraft for us. And so protecting that spacecraft is really important, and recognizing that there are just not a lot of planets out there that are like ours, and if they were, they're not very close, so we can't get to them.
Sure.
So there's a lot of really great opportunities for us to dream and think about where we can go and build the warp drives and things like this to go to hyperspace. But it's a long way away still.
Oh boy, here we go. He's got something real. Get ready. Wait, hold on. Take notes. Take notes, Doctor.
So if Earth is this oasis,
yes,
because it is,
yeah.
I mean, we could say because it is, because of water and everything we have, is it not a destination perhaps for extraterrestrials to want to get to? Are you a science fiction guy?
I am. Yes.
Have you read Three Body Problem?
I have not, but I know about it. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So the idea is that an alien race has a planet that is less inhabitable than Earth, and stumbles across Earth because Earthlings are stupid, and reach out to them, and
She wasn't dumb, Derek.
And they say
she was the hero in the end.
She was not the hero in the end because it shined a beacon to these aliens that would say, "Oh, that's a place that I want to be."
Yes.
So is that? I mean, when you multiple questions here, but I'll start with this. So, if that concept could be true, I mean, that could be something that maybe we should be a little concerned about.
Well, Stephen Hawking, I believe, if I'm quoting him correctly, said something to the effect of we have to be careful about reaching out into space and attracting things because we don't know what we might be attracting our way, you know, to let them know that we're here, you know. So
that's a big part of the book. They call it the dark
food.
forest theory.
Yeah.
Where we're in a dark forest, stay in the dark forest.
Be careful, right?
Because as soon as a predator sees you, you're no longer safe.
That's correct. And so that's an interesting thing that we don't think about as scientists as much. But as science fiction writers, you think about it all the time.
Sure.
You know, something comes to Earth, and then, you know, what are you going to do? You know, and so whether it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers or some other kind of thing that happens in these films, Independence Day, all of it is really about where are we in the universe? Who are we in the universe? Are we the only things in the universe? And there could be beings that are so advanced that they only speak and communicate and travel through mental telepathy. They don't even need spacecraft. You know, we don't even think about all this stuff. So that's why it's always interesting when people will say, "Oh, there's a UFO and there's all this technology," because that kind of seems like some of their technology seems reachable. Like we'll get to a point where we'll have UFOs that can fly around. Whereas things that you do with the mind or with consciousness seem much further away, like millions of years away from us. And looking at the scale of the universe and how old things are, I would think there's a likelihood that if there was alien, beings that were out there, they might already know that we're here. We might not even see them.
Or maybe they're in the depths of the ocean. That's been the latest. That's been the latest. Yeah, that are fact-checking journalists at Fox 2. That's Marielle's thing. She loves it. Yeah. She's like, they're probably in the water. I'm like, maybe Mariana Trench. Why not?
I mean, these are places that are unreachable by us, or they could have visited long ago and be under the ice in Antarctica. It's just hard to really say what has happened and whether they've already been here and gone. We don't know.
I think science fiction writers, I almost exclusively find myself reading science fiction.
Oh, it's the best.
And it's because I feel like these writers are so creative within science.
Yeah.
So like, for example, Project Hail Mary. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. No. Because it's going to be a movie starring Ryan Gosling. It's coming out, I think, this Thanksgiving. But the writer, Mark Weir, I think is the author's name. Andy Weir, Andy Weir. And the alien in that movie communicates through music.
Yeah.
Through song. Because if you think about music and notes, that is a language.
Absolutely. Well, the mathematical aspect of it is pretty obvious as being a language. And I think Newton and other scientists throughout history have been very much interested, before we created these sort of hard lines between disciplines. A lot of this stuff was all kind of more together.
You think Da Vinci a little bit, right?
Yeah, very much Da Vinci. We have an exhibit on Da Vinci now called Machines in Motion, and you see it in his designs. He's like merging a lot of things together. And I think if you want to discover something and figure it out, you have to think about those adjacencies or how ideas might be mashed up, or even more importantly, how there might be a paradigm shift. With Einstein and relativity, the paradigm shift in part was, instead of you falling down to the ground, what if the ground went up to you? It's like those kinds of things. Just take an idea, flip it.
Good question.
And then connect it to some other things, and you might discover something you never thought about. And in that sense, it's like music. It's almost like a DJ. It's someone that sampled a couple of sounds and mixed something up. And then next thing you know, you have this great song because they slowed something down here and sped it up there. Then they put these voices together. That's today's modern music. How is that any different than discovering things in science? I think you're right on. And then that scene that was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where they were,
Sure.
They were communicating through music, and then that's how they understood each other.
Right.
So what is that universal language? I think we think it's math. But I think if you put math in its most pleasing form to humans, it would probably be like music.
Well, actually, not this guy.
No.
If he invites you to his house, you know what he's going to do? He's going to slap your phone out of your hand if you got music playing on it. He doesn't want any music at his house ever.
Music.
No, he's a serial killer.
He's not wrong. I value silence is what I value quiet.
Yeah.
I there's a lot of noise in this world.
God forbid his wife talk to him. He's like, man, honey, I value silence. Jeez. Okay, fine. Here's the question. Will they be nice or mean? Are they hostile aliens? Let's just, if they do come, are they going to be mean or nice to us?
Well, I don't know. I would hope they would be nice. And if they were nice, they might just leave us alone and let us figure it out.
Or fail.
If they were mean, they would intervene.
So neat stuff. I mean, the space elevator is like a weird idea, but like just this idea that something will be built probably pretty soon where you like go in it and it's like an elevator and it just takes you to the moon. It's
No.
just nuts.
I can't even comprehend that. That is crazy.
Like they have to, and this is stuff you and I know as meteorologists, but they have to take into account like the rotation of the earth.
For sure.
And like how things move over time. So I don't know. It's just
Very smart people out there doing all the very intricate things.
way
you
smarter
know?
than
Yeah,
us.
yeah,
We'll let them
yes,
handle that.
For sure.
And we'll do the podcast.
Absolutely. We'll talk about them doing it. How about that?
Before we get to our next clip in the best of Weatherboys number 2, I would like to ask you some personal questions.
Oh, I would love to. Fire away.
So one of the exciting topics in the weather office these days
Yes.
is Miss Stephanie Mead's upcoming wedding.
Oh, yes.
How
yes.
you're close now.
We are very close. I am so surprised how quick time flies, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, we are T-minus less than 2 months away from it, and I can't believe how quickly that has happened.
So when you guys got engaged when?
We got engaged in October. Oh my gosh, she's going to make fun of me because I don't know. I think it was like the 29th.
We'll edit all that out.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
October 29th, 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from proposal to wedding is less than a year.
Yes.
Is that quick? I don't know.
Well, the vendors make you think it's quick. They're like,
okay.
oh my gosh, and it is possible. It is very possible. There's some things that you might have to be a little bit more lenient on, which I think during this whole process, I have figured out that I knew I was type B, but I am more so of a type B than I ever thought I was. Like, there's just like a lot of things that I don't really care too much about. And he's also that way too, but he's more of an...
How do you plan anything?
Yeah, well, I think that's exactly right. He's probably a little bit more type A than I am in terms of planning things that he actually genuinely enjoys. So he planned the honeymoon. And he really wanted to go to Banff. I do too. And I think...
Great name. Hard name to say.
Exactly.
Banff.
Banff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just go Banff because there's like 2 F's in there. But he really wanted to do that. So he's been really, really good at planning the honeymoon. Other than that, I think he's just kind of fallen back a little bit, which is normal, I think.
So if it's 2 type B people, so then you're like, do you want to do roses or carnations?
Well,
I don't know. What do you want? I don't care. What do you want?
Well, he's like,
let's do whatever you want.
Exactly. He's just kind of like, I really don't care. And you're like, I really don't care either, as long as there's just like something on the table.
Well, that's a problem. There's going to be nothing on the table,
well,
Steph.
there is something on the table. The only thing we have left to do from this point is to grab the cake and also to get transportation. And then we're finished up.
Wait, what kind of cake?
I wanted to get banana nut. And he goes, why do we get banana nut? Nobody else likes banana nut.
It's a great choice.
I thought so too.
I love that.
I thought it was, you know what? I'm going to have, luckily this is on recording because then he can be like, well, I guess other people do like it, but
it's like one other person likes it.
Right. But he wants something a little bit more, something everybody will eat.
Traditional, like something like, chocolate, vanilla, raspberry.
Marble, something along those lines. So I think we're going to probably come to some type of agreement. But
did you want to do a fall wedding? Was that the goal or?
So he's a hunter. And so there were actually like months that were off limits in this process, which I totally get. I still want him to be able to enjoy his life outside of, the wedding. So we could not get married in October or November.
First 2 weeks of November off the table.
They really are. And he's so serious about that. So I'm like, okay. So he does bow and he does gun hunting.
Oh, a whole month of November is off the table.
All of November, pretty much all of October, pretty much is off the table, which I totally get it. But I think we have a lot going on just family-wise in September for the rest of our lives. We have a lot of birthdays in September that we didn't want to step on anybody's toes. So we were like, August is great. It wasn't ideal planning because my brother is literally getting married the month before. He's getting married at the end of July. So it was just a lot in a little bit of time, but I think we're getting through it. Okay.
So that happened to my family. My 2 sisters got married 6 weeks apart.
Yes.
And they were each completely special in their own way. So like nobody took away from anybody. And that's the thing with sisters.
Oh, for sure.
Like there was definitely some like, you're doing what?
I know. And I felt so bad. I'm like, Robbie, we're going to potentially get married like a month after you. And he was so super cool with it. So luckily it was a boy. My brother, he doesn't really care. He's like, okay, whatever. It's just like we're getting married in 2 separate places.
We have the same family, right? Like you have 3 sisters, 1 brother.
Yes.
And I have 3 sisters and I'm the 1 brother.
Yes. And so I think it all worked out pretty well. And then after that, we are kind of quiet family wise in terms of like events.
You need it.
We do. It's been just so active. My sister's also having a baby in like T-minus probably a couple days. So yeah, she's going to be due very
She's like really
soon.
pregnant.
She's very pregnant. She's like, I think at that stage where she feels like she can pretty much do anything. She texted the group chat today. She's like, I feel like I could like clean the entire house. And all my
that baby's
aunts,
coming soon.
that's what my aunt said. They're like, oh yeah, I remember when I gave birth. It's going to come in like 2 or 3 days
It is.
because I felt like I could run a marathon, and I was cooking everything and going grocery shopping and all that stuff. So she's probably due very soon.
My wife started having contractions. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and she got up, went downstairs, and started cutting a pineapple.
Oh, perfect.
And I was like, "What are you doing?" She's like, we got to get this cut before, because when we get home, it's going to be rotten."
Yeah.
And I was like,
what are you doing?
"What?" Yeah, the pregnancy brain is a very interesting brain.
You want to do the most right before.
Your honeymoon, are you guys just going to chill, or is it going to be like a go honeymoon?
You know what? It's probably going to be a mix of both. Just because I feel like this is going to be our probably last time in order to relax and enjoy our time together before, the next step of everything. So, I think we're going to be walking and hiking a lot because they have all of those really, really pretty like turquoise lakes up there. We're going to see a glacier, I believe,
cool.
or walk on a glacier or something like that. We'll go shopping, the stereotypical stuff that you would do up in Banff.
That's awesome. I'm so excited for you guys.
I'm excited too. He's a really great guy. He's a full blood Michigan man, and he's fantastic.
We love him.
Yeah,
we
he's
love
great.
him.
Yeah.
We're excited for both you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, let's transition into from one full-blown Michigan man to another full-blown Michigan man. The next guest in our Best of Weatherboys Volume 2 is John U. Bacon. So he is an author, famous author, Michigan guy, a Big Ten guy, really. He loves everything about really the Midwest. But we got a chance to sit down and talk with John U. Bacon around the anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, because he had written a book about it, and we were doing a 30-minute special about it. And so it was really great to get a chance to pick his brain, not only on stuff that he dealt with when it came to Michigan football, which he's written a lot of books about, but also his newest book about the Edmund Fitzgerald. Take a listen to John U. Bacon.
And I'm not a meteorologist, unlike some people here I can name. But I mean, when I read a football book or a hockey book or a leadership book, man, I already know half the story, at least. I know half of what's going on. In this case, I knew Port and Starboard, and I've sailed Port Huron to Mackinac. I've been on all the lakes, but I did not know what taconite was. I didn't know how the storm systems actually functioned in Allen's level, basically. So I had a whole lot to learn. I did.
There's hope for me too.
There you go. But as far as McSorley goes, he's the captain of the ship, for those who don't know. Ernest McSorley. He is a captain at 31. He's the youngest captain at the Great Lakes when he first became captain out of 300. So that shows you how good he was. And now he's 63 years old. So more than half his life has been spent as a Great Lakes captain. And by all accounts, he was the best out of 300. And I heard that from his former crew. I heard that from his rivals. Pretty much everyone thought that. But you still have to tell the story objectively. And, why did the ship go down? I side with John Tanner. He's the former superintendent of the Great Lakes Maritime Academy. He said, when a big ship like this goes down, it is rarely one thing. It is usually a confluence of events, a combination of things. The worst storm in a century, we'll get into that in a second, I'm sure. Some design flaws in the ship itself when it was built in 1958. Some mechanical failures that night, both onshore and on board. And as you said, some decisions that, could have gone otherwise. So for the most part, I think the decisions he made that night were very good decisions, and some of them nonetheless backfired. So for example, is a very aggressive captain on the last run of his career. He told his wife that 5 of his peers were going to retire after this trip in 3 days in Toledo. And he tacked down this one last trip. They're supposed to stop the week earlier because he already passed his quota for cargo, so he gets a bonus as a captain. And that bonus was going to pay for his wife's medical care. She was in 24-hour care at that point, probably cancer, I think, but I couldn't quite ascertain that. So this is a good guy doing a good thing, frankly, and beloved by his crew. They followed him from ship to ship to ship, and they don't often do that, by the way. So that's the kind of guy he was. So when they leave port with the storm of the century coming, and this storm, Alan, ends up having 100-mile-per-hour winds. That is hurricane force, as you know. 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60-foot waves, our computer models now tell us. as one of my experts said, this ship ended up in the exact wrong place at the exact wrong time. And it was the only ship in this circle, basically, at that time. The Anderson was about 15 miles behind it, about an hour behind, basically. So it was truly dumb luck, bad luck at that point. And the forecasting was not that good at that point. As important, the communication of the forecasting was not that good. There's a complacency in the entire industry that they could have done a better job, even with what they had in 1975, but they didn't.
Yeah.
So,
John, if I may add to that, because we interviewed, because we have a special it aired November 10th, the 50th anniversary on Fox 2, and you can find that online and on YouTube as well. But we interviewed some folks from the National Weather Service, and they said on November 9th, a gale warning was issued. That was upgraded to a storm warning on the morning of November 10th. And they said that there is evidence that was relayed via radio to Captain McSorley. So there's evidence that he did know. But that all said, he was already on the water. Like you're like the plan is already happening at that point. So getting that information, while useful, you're still, especially with somebody who's a 31, 32-year veteran of Lake Superior, he's going to say, "Yeah, it's fine. I know what I'm doing."
And
it's the same.
You know, Derek, not all I don't even know what a storm warning is. It's a different name now, but not all warnings are the same. You know, it's weather is that's especially out on the lakes. That's wild.
Well, and I would suggest a similar kind of feeling for, and I worked down in New Orleans for 4 years, but when a hurricane is in the Gulf of Mexico, there are a lot of men that work on the oil rigs out in the Gulf, and they say, "Yeah, no, it's fine. Like we've been through 100 of these. We're okay." And McSorley literally had been through hundreds of those. And so he was familiar with a storm like that, at least he thought, because this storm that originated in Oklahoma, that low tightened up so quickly and so fast that it became one of those storms that you do only see once every 100 years.
Well, that's all true, and I think it's all fair. And by no means am I claiming here that the National Weather Service delivered an abject failure. And it's in the book. The gale warning, the storm warning, they'd crank it up, okay, there's going to be 40-mile-per-hour winds or 50-mile-per-hour winds. But nowhere in there are the 100-mile-per-hour winds they got. So there were warnings, but they were not sufficient, I would say that. And they're also not as thorough as they needed to be. McSorley knew almost nothing about the storm coming from the southwest. And oftentimes when the Great Lakes are at their worst, it's two storm systems combining, in this case, the Alberta Clipper, bringing cold, dry air from Western Canada and heavy winds, and the storm from the southwest. They knew about the Clipper. They knew very little, if anything, about the southwestern storm, bringing hot, wet air. And when these things, combine, that's going to get ugly. And they happen to combine right in front of Whitefish Bay. That's safety. If you can get to Whitefish Bay, you've made it, basically. And these storms set up like a catcher in front of home plate.
I mean, that was a pretty good get. John U. Bacon's like famous.
So, I have, before not living in Michigan, I didn't realize how big the Edmund Fitzgerald was to the state of Michigan. Everybody loves talking about it. My fiance loves talking about it alongside the song.
Yeah.
He will not stop singing the song. So it's such a really cool piece of history, I feel like.
He probably listens to the song all the time in November when he's out hunting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. He blasts it when he's driving down 75.
It's so funny. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, it was fun to really dig deep. And by the way, you can find our 30-minute special on the Edmund Fitzgerald on our website, fox2detroit.com. It's on YouTube as well. And we were able to use some of John U. Bacon's stuff within our story, but boy, his book is really good too, and you can find that anywhere. It's shot to the top of the New York Times bestsellers list. So go ahead and look for it wherever books are sold, as
Perfect.
they say.
Yeah.
All right, last guest. This one we are excited about because this guy, he is not only one of the most talented, he is not only one of the friendliest, he is not only one of the most handsome.
Okay, I'm really eager to hear who this is.
He is also one of our best friends.
Okay.
And we affectionately refer to him as the third weather boy. And he is the man behind the camera.
Okay.
He is the man that does all the editing. And he sat in with us to explain what it's like to work with Alan and I on all of our Weather Boy stories. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Matt Phillips, cameraman, videographer, photojournalist. He's got so many different titles: director, producer, sound engineer. He does all of it. And we got a chance to sit down with Matt and just kind of talk about this thing that we do that we call the Weather Boys. Matt Phillips.
From my point of view, it's interesting. I think we all have a thought about how it's going to work out and how everything's going to play out, and then after the first 5 seconds, everything just completely goes out the window because you guys lock and do your own thing, which is fine. And I have to slow you down from time to time.
From time to time.
Like every 10 minutes.
Because it's really, I mean, when you look at what we do on these long form pieces that we do, it probably requires 5 to 6 people. I mean, if we were going to do it in a real production company, this is not a real production company. No, I said it's a real production company, but we also have to do other things, and we don't have staff that large to cover all the things like audio, like having an actual sound man, having a producer, a field producer on site. They can do all this. I'm actually working the camera and field producing, and actually at the same time monitoring all the audio channels that were.
And unlike a normal news story, there's one audio channel because it's one microphone, right? Maybe 2 if you talk about the one on the camera.
Correct. You might be doing a one-on-one interview. You might have 2 mics. Sometimes on Weatherboys we might have 4. I mean, I think the most we had, actually that's the most we can have, was 4.
Yeah, and so it sucks when we break them, especially mid-shoot, because you got to try to figure something out. And it's always fun to watch you, because it's usually two cameras, you and Brian.
Well, that's not how it started, though. It started with just Matt. And then, the very first story we ever did was the disc golf.
Well, we had 3 for that.
We had 3 for that. We did have 3. We had Doug and Brian.
Yeah, Doug showed it. Doug showed up hard.
You're right.
Yeah,
but
if we can have 3 every time, it'd be great.
But it's incredible, and you probably hate it, but you find ways, and this sucks. But it's your product of your own success because you find ways to make it work when it's just you. You set up all these, and that must be a slog to look through for the old edit.
So if we want to fast forward to the edit. The first day, I'm banging my head on the table, just because I don't know what I have, and I see the script and I'm like, oh my. And once I go through it, though, I mean, start laying it out, then it starts coming to me. Then I start kind of relaxing. Then I start really finding my groove and putting it together.
What is the process? So you have to ingest all the video, which is. It's an enormous amount of video.
Let's just talk about the last shoot we had. We had 6 cameras for the kart race.
Yeah,
and so we placing different cameras on the track and cameras on the actual karts themselves, and then you got to start putting those together and make it make sense in in like a sequence, and that's tough, especially the kart racing was really tough because. How many laps did you guys do? Like
15 each time.
So I had to condense that, obviously, but at the same time, make it interesting to watch. And, I don't know, was it?
Yeah. I think that was my most, I mean, they're all good, but I think that was the most impressive because the go-kart racing, which is really fun and exciting, is also visually dull.
It's so boring
because we're
to watch.
only going 30 miles an hour, which feels fast, but when you watch it, it's not fast.
Oh no, if you were to watch just one camera.
Oh my gosh.
But it's slow. Yeah, it's very slow.
And when you're talking about a shoot like that where you had 3 cameras along the race, the continuity matters too. So you have to line up the turn in one camera with the turn in another camera. So there's a whole nother sub level of work that you have to do.
Yeah. So it's, a lot of times it's, if you can kind of like match the audio, if you have a camera that's actually picking up audio channels the same as the other camera was, then it's easier. But if it's not, then you have to kind of scrub through the video. Okay, he's making this turn. Is it? Oh, yep. And then you line it up. And it's a process, total process. So this one took a little bit longer to edit, to get done. And, but I think it came out great.
Oh my God, Matt! It was first off, every single piece you've edited every single piece.
How many pieces? How have we done?
Well, I can tell you, I got them all pulled up right here.
Shut up! You have a list?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
21,
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 Weatherboys pieces in 2 years.
And some of these are not the same. Some of them are a little bit shorter, condensed. Like you remember when we adopted a dog for the day. And, But again, those are like. I love how each one is kind of different. And we have these big production Weatherboy shoots, and then we have a smaller type of condensed, just kind of showing, not really, sometimes learning, but...
the Father's Day one with Luderman.
Oh my gosh.
That's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Because it's very heartfelt.
Yes.
And that is what, and we as a group kind of early on decided what makes this different than just the MTV Jackass, that show. Is we've got a story in it, and the story has heart to it. And Alan he writes it and he crafts the story, but you're the one that brings it to life, Matt. Like you take all of that stuff, hours of stuff, and you make it actually sing. You make people, you give the goosebumps. You're the goosebump giver. And that's all thanks to you. That's all thanks to you.
High blood pressure for me, goosebumps for other people. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, especially the old Rudy one, man. And Dirk, when you dunked that ball, I mean, and it surprises me every time how perfect it goes. Because, like, we have a general idea of what's going to happen. But like you said, it gets thrown out. Like, never in a million years did we plan for Derek to miss a dunk, miss a dunk, miss a dunk, finally get it, finally. Even when we were doing it, that wasn't the idea necessarily.
The idea was not when we put it together, we were going to put it together. That wasn't going to be the
arc,
the pinnacle. Yeah.
But it was. It had to be. And I told you guys right in the middle of the edit, I was like, I know where this is going, and it's how it's going to end.
I felt
it's going to be beautiful.
I felt like that one was from the beginning because I felt like you from the get, you were like, got it, done, over. You guys are going to love it.
Aww.
You know, I love that you guys interviewed him because he's such an interesting guy.
He's so talented.
He is.
We were honestly very lucky when we approached Matt. We were like, hey, we want to launch this thing. We'd love to do it with you. And he was like, I'm game.
Well, and I've never met a bigger Notre Dame fan.
Right.
And also Cubs fan mixed in one. So I feel very much at home when I am chit-chatting with Matt.
So Matt sent us just yesterday. This is not, I swear to God, he sent us a picture, him and his daughters, Wrigley Field.
Yeah, Rick, of course.
He had his jersey on and his daughters were with him. And it felt like he was, making the trip to Mecca, like just just to go to his holy land, which is Wrigley Field. And he probably swung by Notre Dame on the way.
Yeah, why not? It's right on the way. Yeah, he's great. And he always comes with great ideas. And he's so particular and he always makes things look so great.
Yeah. So anyways, Matt, we love you and we hope that you know that.
Yes.
All right, that's going to do it for this version of the Best of the Weatherboys podcast, Volume 2. Stephanie Mead, thank you for sitting in.
Thanks for having me here. I had a lot of fun with you, Derek.
Well, I always have fun with you.
Yes.
And we'll see if we can get that Longstreet guy to, get off his couch or something and do a little work around here. He actually is writing another story right now, so I shouldn't give him too much crap. Thank you for listening. As always, you can find all of our content on YouTube, on Spotify, and of course on the Fox Local app. Scroll down to Weatherboys. Click on us, and all of our content is right there. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.